Good morning and welcome to Smart Means Business. I'm Andrew Barigi, very delighted that you're part of today's edition of Smart Means Business. And of course, part of the key discussions that we shall be anticipating to have today, we shall be taking a look at the funding crisis that threatens the Standard Gauge Railway project. And this is a text of Uganda's commitment, that is when it comes to the infrastructure development. And of course, still on top of that, down in here, when we get into the Caribbean, East Africa, we shall be taking a look at the government of Kenya that moves to allay the fears that is of the mass job losses after restructuring about 90 entities. And the Kenya Revenue Authority is said to boost trade with enhanced customs system. And now when we get into the international scene, there is something that has been actually trending for quite some time. And this is United Arab Emirates' interest when it comes to investing in Africa. We shall be, of course, taking a look at the Africa Business Week. And of course, one of the big stories in here is President-elect Donald Trump, who is actually threatening, not threatening per se, but the tariffs. He has actually, he's threatening tariffs at the 2025 Davos World Economic Forum that was actually taking place. When he was giving a speech, what he talked about was definitely in line with the strife. And in our Business Insight, the Parliament approved 600 million loan for Greater Kampala, that is the urban roads. And we shall be taking a look at a deeper look regarding that. And taking a look at the Kampala Expressway, a deep dive into the revenue growth and the loan repayments and the road ahead of Uganda's infrastructure. So keep stay tuned on Smart Means Business. This morning we shall be having the details of these particular reports. But at this time, let's take a look at what's making headlines within the local press. Well, kickstarting, I do have the Daily Monitor and the base of PLE and the better results. Of course, the results were released yesterday show that candidates who sat at the 2024 PLE scored fewer distinctions but achieved better overall performance than their 2023 counterparts. So there are details, of course, the images, the photos of the victors, being put all over. And I can see it's the same case even when it comes to the New Vision. But let's first of all wind this up. Now, of course, they met it against all the odds, and the Uganda National Examination Board probed schools over fake special needs claim. Now, the UNEP chairperson described it as a unique case of examination malpractice, of course, categorizing it as fraud. As you can see, just right there, we definitely congratulating those students that have been able to make it to that and wishing them a very amazing journey as they proceed to the next level of their academic journey. Now, of course, still with the PLE result, a boy with a disability scores aggregate 11. He's been put in here. And of course, according to the reports, they actually revealed that few distinctions were realized and higher pass rates in 2024 PLE. Now, the UNEP reported a drop in distinctions across the subjects, attributing it to difficulties by the pupils in answering questions that required higher level thinking skills. So that is in regards to that. And Janet raises concern over school dropouts. Now, the Ministry of Education says that the dropout rates are especially among the registered PLE candidates, urging stakeholders to address the issue while encouraging successful candidates to pursue further education and vocational training. Yeah, so that is very key. Skilling these kids at a tender age is something beneficial, not only for them, but also for the growth and development of this country. Now, schools assisted PLE candidates, that's according to a claim in here, We don't know how exactly, but when you grab yourself a copy of the Daily Monitor, you will be able to find out exactly what that entails. And male candidates outperform the females in PLE. Still, the results show that. And now into away from now the PLE side. Now, as we get into the business side, the government seeks financial to fund the Umeme buyout. Now, according to the Ministry of Energy, government should by March 2025 have secured between $100 million and $150 million, or slightly above, that is needed for the Umeme buyout. That's a lot of money. So the government seeks financial to fund this buyout. Now, the interest rates drop on reduced Bank of Uganda policy rate. That is good for the small and intermediary enterprises. And of course, the Ministry of Finance, according to the report, a Ministry of Finance report indicates that interest rate for the shilling-denominated loans dropped to 18.08%. That is according to what is coming out of there. Now, proceeding along, now we'll take a look at the comment section here in the Daily Monitor. Of course, managing expectation is a valuable lesson. Somebody says that. And Trump's decision on climate agreement does not demonstrate the United States leadership, as somebody says. And they say that true leadership lies in confronting shared challenges with courage and cooperation, known as a result of having a self-centered mindset. And I think this is what they are trying to address in regards to Donald Trump's presidency. Now, a Kampala Declaration, will Africans walk the talk? That is a very important question. Will Africans talk the talk? Somebody has actually written something here in the opinion section. And somebody here says, maybe people shouldn't visit Uganda until what exactly? Of course, how much work goes into training or even enlightening, that is of the proprietors. A writer here says in the comment section, so you can grab yourself a copy of the Daily Monitor to get the details. Now, when we get into the letter of the day, the voter registration should be continuous, not episodic. This is according to what somebody says in the letter of the day. And of course, we've been urged also to harness clean energy, biogas adoption in rural communities. And yeah, so all that. There is details when you get yourself a copy of the Daily Monitor. Okay, now, of course, the scoop here, today is a Friday. Ragadi, he says that I was the first artist to have a wedding at Serena. That is what it says. Well, and then, of course, when we proceed still, we see Saha, King Saha, of course, whom they say is displaying polite, and he says he does, So grab yourself a copy for those that are entertainment fans. That would be something very interesting for you. And now there is a full detail about the national school ranking. That is based on Division 1 for the PLE results 2024. All the schools have been ranked according to the top to the down. There are quite many here, so it's you'll grab yourself a copy to get the details. And of course, they show us here the stars who made us proud. The parents, that celebrating their children who really passed quite with a great, with a great marks. So there is also that aspect in there. And then for the movie fans, The Loves Come. That is the movie to check out for this weekend. This is in the streaming section. And of course, the director, that is Umberto Carteni. The cast contains Antonio Foleto, Laura Adriani, and so many more. So it's now streaming on Netflix. And also another, that is The Shooter. It's another one to check out for. And of course, for the action fans, this is going to be a lovely one. According to the storyline, you can definitely tell there is a lot of espionage, conspiracy, and so many more. Now, a special report here of how the city abattoir turned Lambo's fortunes here. So grab yourself a copy to get the details and see how, she was able to make a fortune out of that. And still 15,000 a profit from each jerrycan of juice, which is meant from the pineapples in here. Seeing some ladies still within this special report. And now the voters register update gathers pace. Now the exercise is supposed to start at 8 a.m. and end at exactly 6 p.m. daily. That is including on the weekends until Friday 10th. So that is the update for those that need to update their details because you need to participate in the voting that is next year. And Ugandan Banyarwanda seek President Museveni's innovation of passports and national identification cards. So they say that they want officials from the Ministry of Internal Affairs to stop applying laws that is selectively. This is Frank Gashumba, the chairperson of Council for the Rwandese, Abavandimwe. That's what they're called. And that. Now, as we get into the regional perspective, a market for child brides, that is Barrio. Now, parents occasionally take their underage daughters for the market and exchange them for money. Chickens, goats, and cows. Can you imagine that? So that is in Barrio, a market for the child brides. Well, this is something of a great concern to look into. And then in the job section, how do you find your tribe? If you became good at this distribution, you will always run the world. But if we are on it, to be honest, distribution is a complex problem, and not everybody who claims to know it, they actually know how exactly it functions. This according to the job section. And of course, for the social media, how critical is the role of social media technology for the human resource leaders? That's a question in there. And of course, still on the opportunities, the modern trade executive, that is at MSLV Group County Assistant Manager, of course, has something to say in that line. And then the distribution is a factor of many things. This is what the experts say. So if you want to really get to the in-depth of that, you need to get yourself a copy of the Daily Monitor to get the further details, because it's quite important when it comes to developing, the business connections that you need. And in a case, you also want to be a distributor, you can find out some tips and how it all works. I can see a whole chain here, starting with the producer, the agent, the wholesaler, the retailer, then the consumer, and so much more there. And then understanding team personalities, it's important to understand that, and the expert says this. So this is Caroline, the managing director, the leadership team. So grab yourself a copy to that. And then from Meta to TikTok, does the social media matter to the human resource? That is also a huge question for those that are into that profession. Okay. Now, proceeding along, as we see now, let's get into the sports side. Villa storm around round of 32, and Kampala City Council Authority face unknowns in Karamoja. Now, of course, Sports Club Villa breezed past Seda about Kampala City Council Authority, based for the unknown in Nepak. So there is further details for the sports fund in there. And then URAU now special and weeks of speculation. Now, of course, the last weeks have been dominated by the rumors and speculations about the relationship between Uganda Rugby Union and the main sponsor, that is the Nile Special. So there is further aspects that have been highlighted regarding that matter. And then big shots in Barara with the National Rally Championship flagging off in style. All roads, of course, lead to Barara for the highly anticipated Lumala at 60 Mom at 90 birthday rally, a thrilling celebration of rally legend that is Moses Lumala's milestone and his mother's remarkable 90 years with 44 season cruise. And of course, they say high-speed sections and big names like Yassine Nasser and Ronald Seboguzi roaring back into action. And the season opener promises to set the tone for a dramatic 2025 rallying calendar. So for the sports fans, I understand this means quite a big deal. And well, that is it for the Daily Monitor. Now let's switch and take a look at the New Vision. Now, of course, the base PLE pupils schools all being listed. And of course, Busoga on the parish development model success. This is when President Museveni actually is there. And then I may not get into that really as much, but as you can see, the best PLE is actually training all over. And once again, congratulating the pupils that actually were able to make it to the stardom, to make it to the expectations of the parents. Now, Nakawana Guru project, the government slapped with 1 billion Ugandan shillings fine. So why is it really so? There are details in here. Actually, the residents are seeking compensation from the government. So what kind of compensation and why is it necessary at such a time? There is further details on that. And now, in other stories, military exploits that ushered liberation. Of course, just 2 days to the Liberation Day. I think that is going to be on Sunday. Yeah, I think it's going to be on Sunday this time around. And so the military exploits have all been, of course, stated in here, how that ushered the liberation of Uganda. Now, the Band of 41 fighters armed with only 27 guns attacked Abamba on February 6th. That is in 1981. Little did they know that from among them would actually emerge 2 presidents, 2 army commanders, and army generals. And today, however, only 7 of the 41 are still alive. So this year's celebration themed 39 years of NRM salutations for those who re-sanctified our homeland. So that is the theme for this year's Liberation Day celebrations. So there is quite a big deal in there and further important details that you need to find out and why when we celebrate this day as a country, Uganda. Now, on the parish model development, the PDM performance in Busoga impresses President Yoweri Museveni. President Yoweri Museveni actually has commended that the impact of the parish development model is driving economic transformation, particularly in Busoga sub-region. Actually, I remember reading one of the tabloids that said he called the journalists paupers in that side. So it was something. So in other words, he was trying to put them in a place of embracing the opportunities that are with the parish development model. So President Museveni praised the people of the Busoga sub-region for their growing efforts in wealth creation and progress in overcoming poverty. Now, the president expressed optimism about the region's potential and emphasized the importance of utilizing resources strategically. Actually, in his very own words, this is what he said. He said, "I'm very happy to be here. I can't see the Busoga getting out of poverty." That's what President Museveni said. And a part of the key discussions that he pointed out while there was transforming land. And of course, Ginger Farmer was also offered some advice, as a result of that, of his presence in there. So when you get yourself a copy, you'll find the details. And well, you never know, you could pick something or two that could be very potential for your career. Now, over 90% pass as distinctions drop. They passed, but the distinctions were laced. Now, despite reporting a drop in distinctions, Odongo said the overall performance improved compared to how it was like in 2023. Yeah, so the performance improved by 3%. There was a drop in distinctions, and then there is a call for action. Of course, despite celebrating the reduction in the number of absenteeism, the First Lady rallied head teachers and school management committees to interest themselves in addressing the problem of the school dropouts. That actually the problem of the school dropouts is a big one, and as a country, it's something that we need to really solve at an earlier stage, because if we do have children, the pupils at that age, dropping out of school due to pregnancy, then what is the way forward? What is the way forward for that? Okay, now part of the aspects that the UNEB officials actually talked about problem-solving skills. Now, according to the clarification of UNEB, higher ability candidates meant those who were able to remember or recall the facts and show an understanding of those facts, and are able to apply the facts and concepts in problem solving in those situations. Now, that is the whole issue here that is trying to be brought up. Back in the days, it was more of cram work. Then you come and you do what exactly you're given, just because you have it, you've crammed it. But it's more like it's changing this time. It's more of reasoning, because with this way, it helps. It helps these pupils to interact, because the world of books is way different from the real world actually when you count it. So it's a big problem. That's why African education systems have not been the answer to some of the solutions that Africa actually needs, because it's more of tailored to benefit. It wasn't meant to work for the Africans based on the nature of the Africans, That's why yesterday we had a report, and the vice chancellor of one of the universities was talking about why like boarding schools are not necessary, because when these pupils leave school, they go straight home, and home holidays 3 to 4 weeks, 3 months they are in school. They spend roughly 3 weeks to 4 weeks to around a month, to interact with the societies. So you find that when they get back to the society, they cannot help the society, because what they studied does not relate. They can't reconcile it with the current society needs, because the society will always have challenges and it needs specific solutions. And this can only be achieved when the pupils actually interact with the community on a frequent basis to study the environment and get to understand what works for that environment and what can't work in that environment. And I think that will be a huge opportunity for entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship is not about making profits, but solving a problem. So this approach, I think it's quite very positive. So problem-solving skills is the way to go right now. And even the examinations should also be set when the students have, the pupils have that, even the students at higher learning levels. Now, when you read between the lines, lower secondary education enables learners to get grounded in basic knowledge of natural sciences such as physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, and other earth sciences. That's what they say. Okay, now proceeding along, of course, base school districts have also been named here as a result of this. And then there is a lot. It's trending all over. Here, I may not get into the details, but for further clarity and details regarding how the schools performed, you can grab yourself a copy of the New Vision. Even the Daily Monitor has something similar. Now, getting into the comment section, as somebody says that Uganda should seize Trump-era opportunities. What are those opportunities like? Grab yourself a copy. He has listed all these opportunities and how Uganda can actually position itself and benefit
accordingly. Now, NRM's 39 years. Is Uganda under a dictatorship? There is a question here. A journalist is asking if weighed on the scale of dictators, something President Museveni would fail miserably. But those opposed to him think he is the worst and shouldn't be in power. No, so contradiction of ideas here. So grab yourself a copy to get to find out the details. Now, still, somebody says that how to transform businesses for a sustainable future. There is tips have been highlighted here, and celebrating Uganda's transformation. And now a golden future. Bank of Uganda's bold step towards economic resilience. This is the deputy governor, that is Michael Atingigo, has written something here that I think is beneficial for investment decisions. So grab yourself a copy to get the details regarding that. And now, exciting hiking tourism in Agago district. A writer wrote here is the Minister of Tourism and Antiquity of the Royal Chiefdom. That is in Acholi. They're talking about the hiking tourism in Agago district. So, I mean, in other words, trying to see other tourist attractions so that, we can have. And I think it's a great advantage because now that means that there is an even distribution which can enhance balanced regional growth and development in the long run. Okay, now proceeding along, leaders commit to agriculture reform. What is that reform like? Grab yourself a copy. You can see President Museveni interacting with different African leaders during the recently concluded CADP summit, of course, in line with agriculture. And we know that the president has actually been a key advocate, most especially when it comes to value addition for the agricultural raw materials, because in that way, that's when the East African nations, all the African nations, will actually be in position to benefit big from the exports and and increase the incomes and the forex reserves as a result. Okay, now of course the Base Farmers Association are set for expo. That is in the harvest money, and of course still back to the schools, the ranking of the top 1,500 schools countrywide. And then in the business side, Ugandan banks are given a B rating. Yes, Ugandan banks given a B rating. Now, what does a B rating mean here? Now, the increased minimum paid up capital requirement for Ugandan banks has boosted the capitalization among smaller banks, leading to a modest improvement in the overall sector. And so Fitch, a global rating body, has said in that regard. So I guess this is very important information to visit. So grab yourself a copy of the new vision. Then Vice President Lupo tips Emyuga beneficiaries. That is in Katakwi. Okay, now let me get to wind this up. Yeah, so for the further details regarding the ranking of the schools, it's all been listed here, and you can grab the copy and find out. Now, of course, in the sports side, USRA conducts the Children's Holiday Clinic, and Ibra backs Serada. Find out the details. And now Nile commit to rugby. So for the sports fans, that is an amazing report. And then Fords versus Mitsubishi and Subaru. Who will win it this time around? Now, as fans through the Mbarara Rally sections to cheer up their favorite at this year's Federation of Motorsport Clubs in Uganda, an Uganda calendar opener in Mbarara. The biggest question is who will run away with the bragging rights, at the end of the two-day event. Okay, and that is it for the press review. Let's go for the break, and I'll be returning with Caribbean East Africa and the international updates. Stick around.